Ships sunk by Royal Navy battleships during World War II. Second Naval Battle of Narvik, 13 April 1940. The battleship Warspite was sent to Narvik with 9 destroyers, and under cover of aircraft from a carrier. They engage 8 German destroyers, who were low on fuel and ammunition from the previous battle. The destroyer Erich Kölner was hit by destroyers, with shells and a torpedo. The torpedo blew off her bow. Thereafter the destroyer Erich Kölner was sunk by shells from the battleship Warspite. The German destroyer Dieter von Roeder was hit by shells from destroyers, and 1 shell from Warspite. The Dieter von Roeder was beached and eventually blown up by a German demolition party to prevent its capture. Destroyer Erich Gies was hit and sunk by shells from the battleship Warspite and destroyers. Battle of Mers el-Kabir, 3 July 1940. Because of the Franco-German armistice, the British Navy feared that the French ships would fall into German hands. The French admiral at Mers el-Kabir was given the choice to join the British with the Free French, surrender for internment, or to scuttle themselves, or be sunk. When the French did not reply, the British battleships Hood, Valiant and Resolution opened fire on the French ships. The French battleship Britannia was hit 4 times by the battleship Hood that caused her to explode and sink. The battleship Provence and the battlecruiser Dunkirk were also hit by several shells from the British battleships and sank. Battle of Cape Matapan, 28 March 1941. After the Italian heavy cruiser Pola was hit by a torpedo from British aircraft, she lay dead in the water. The heavy cruisers Fiume and Zara and 4 destroyers were ordered to escort the cruiser Pola and tow her to safety. Unfortunately for the Italians, the group was intercepted and engaged by the British battleships Warspite, Valiant, and Barham and their escorting destroyers. The cruiser Fiume was sunk by the battleships Warspite and Valiant, while the Barham engaged an Italian destroyer, that was eventually sunk by British destroyers. The Zara was sunk by the battleships Warspite, Valiant, and Barham, while the remaining cruiser Pola was sunk by destroyers. Hunt for the Bismarck, 27 May 1941. After sinking the Hood, the German battleship Bismarck was hunted down and her steering disabled, by a torpedo hit from an aircraft. The Bismarck was engaged by the battleship Rodney and the battleship King George V. Both battleships placed many hits on the Bismarck and destroyed its fire control and silenced its guns. Eventually German crew members scuttled the Bismarck to prevent its capture. Collision during convoy escort. On 1 May 1942 the battleship King George V was escorting convoy PQ-15, and collided with the destroyer Punjabi. The Punjabi maneuvered in front of the King George V to avoid a mine. The Punjabi was cut in 2 and sunk. Battle of the North Cape, 26 December 1943. When the battleship Scharnhorst left the harbor to intercept a convoy, the battleship was intercepted by several cruisers and destroyers, and the battleship Duke of York. The Scharnhorst was initially heavily damaged by shells from the Duke of York. Thereafter, the Scharnhorst was engaged by cruisers and destroyers. Again the Scharnhorst was hit by torpedoes and shells. The Duke of York opened fire again, and hit the Scharnhorst several times. Eventually the Scharnhorst was finished off by torpedoes and sunk.